So just the other day, we did that update video where we talked about Chris being spotted in Virginia for the first time out in the public in like 2 years. And since then, Chris has been spotted by a few more people at a few more places, and we have more details on this whole situation that I didn't have when I put up my initial update video just the other day. So I thought I'd make a more clear and concise one for y'all and tell you what's really going on here, or at least what's being posted about on the Quickie and on other places online. So where we start off is that the Quickie has apparently named this new saga the Chase, meaning that people are chasing Chris all around trying to get the newest picture of him, trying to get the newest sighting. The photos that we're going to be looking at today were all taken in like a 24 to maybe 48 hour period of each other, and Chris, now that people know he's out and about, people are they got their eyes peeled. I think a lot of people's first assumption is that people are actively going out and looking for Chris, just doing the ween shit that everyone expected of them. People were saying that when Chris was in jail, that, when he got out, people were going to be all over the place trying to get sightings of him. And I mean, look what's happening here. It seems like that's the case, but honestly, I'm pretty sure that this is just people who know about Chris who are seeing him in random locations. Now, some may be more dedicated than others. The guy in Walmart took a whole photo album of pictures of Chris, while the one we're going to look at later is like a very grainy looking Bigfoot photo that the guy was obviously very reluctant to take. So I wanted to talk about what I had said in the other update video the other day, talking about how even though Chris was spotted at Walmart, I wouldn't expect to see him anytime soon, because look how long it was until we saw him once he got out of jail in the first place. And now that goes right out the window because people are spotting him here, there, and everywhere. And I honestly don't expect it to stop anytime soon. I assume people are still going to see him in places and want to take pictures, and I assume now that people know that he's out and doing stuff in places, people are going to actively go out and look for him. Now, I think one of the biggest reasons that is because just how many eyes are on this situation. I was on Twitter the other day and I saw tweets talking about Chris just kind of joking about the situation, people showing these pictures, and they had millions of views, like tens of thousands of likes. I had friends from my personal life who aren't even that aware of the Chris Chan situation sending me these pictures telling me, yo man, I know you talk about that guy, he got out, did you know it? Like the fact that it's being reached that far. It's pretty wild. Now, do I expect any people who randomly stumble across Chris to randomly go, holy shit, I need to get out there and start messing with this guy? Probably not, but just the amount of eyes on him is more than I've ever seen. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so. This many eyes on Chris, I don't think it's going to do him any good. Personally, it's going to make Chris want to get back online because he has this many eyes on him, but when he does get back online, he's going to be hounded with more criticism than he's ever faced before. He thinks it was bad before when he simply had to deal with his trolls, but now he has to deal with the ire of the entire internet, because I'll tell you something, on all those pictures of Chris, all the posts about Chris I saw, 99% of the comments, you'd expect them to be defending Chris. Oh, how can you blame him? He's not all there. No, people are like, why is he out in public again? Why is this dude who is a rapist out in the public again? And many people say, well, he hasn't been found guilty yet. However, if you've looked at any of the evidence that we looked at here, yeah, he admits it, but I guess in a court of law, he's not guilty, so some people want to use that as an excuse. I mean, heard it from Chris's own mouth. He was pretty giddy about doing this. I don't think there's anything innocent about that, but if you want to use the law argument, that's fine. Nonetheless, I don't think it's someone like Chris who just did that type of shit still thinks it's okay. You see what type of mindset they're in those letters where they think they're Jesus Christ himself. I don't think the streets and public is a good place for him, but maybe it's not, I'm not the one who gets that say, so Chris is just going to be out here gallivanting and we're just going to all have to deal with it, and that's that. So I guess my point is, no matter what side of the coin you're on Chris, just know that there's going to be a lot more information about him coming out if he keeps going out to the public like this. I can imagine wherever he's staying, if it's a group home or wherever, is probably not too happy with all the eyes Chris is going to be getting while he's out and about. But what can they do? They're going to give him a security team? What are they going to do? Tell people they can't take pictures? So unless they tell him, hey, you got to stay here and we'll go out and we'll get you whatever you need, you can't go out in the public anymore, this is going to be happening quite a lot. And I imagine it won't be too long until someone eventually confronts him about this stuff. And, we'll have to see if fireworks fly there, because I'd imagine that they will. So the chase saga is well underway, and I'll be updating y'all with any pictures that do come out of Chris, which I'm trying to do here today. We still have a few to look at, and I haven't even shown you them. Apologies for that. We just have a little bit we need to talk about here. Another thing we need to talk about is, in that last update video, I had talked about, how look inside of Chris's his shopping cart. You see some clothes, you see like a backpack. What I didn't see was a brand new Nintendo Switch, which the guy who took this picture claims Chris bought. Now, this says a lot. This says a whole lot. Number one, where is he getting the money for this? I don't know. We found out that he wasn't getting the tugboat in jail. However, this was the first of the month. Maybe Chris got some money on the first of the month now that he's out. I don't know. Maybe some white knight paid for it. I don't know. But he has one, and the reason I assume he has one is just because he needs to play all the Pokemon games and the Sonic Frontier games that he missed. It's probably been eating at Chris that he hasn't gotten to play like Pokemon Legends Arceus and all that type of stuff. So the Switch, he now has this, and many people are asking, well, isn't this breaking the order that he can't go online? Because obviously Nintendo Switch has an online service. And I'm not sure about that. I don't know how all this stuff works, if he's allowed to be or not. It's not even like the home he's staying at will most likely have Wi-Fi for him to hook up to, so I don't think that's really, I don't think that's something he's going to be doing. Besides, if you have a Nintendo Switch, you can't really talk to people or do much on there anyway. Maybe he could get a Twitter and go back on his Twitter, but I don't know. Even then, like I said, no Wi-Fi at that place, which is a perfect way to get into talking about where Chris is currently staying, because many people are theorizing that it's one of the many halfway homes in different areas around like where Chris is located. And this picture, the guy who took the picture claims that it was in Midlothian, Virginia, where Chris actually went to high school. But one of the things that the guy who took the picture had said was that he saw Chris get into a black van, and it was driven by, as he put it, a black woman. And these vans, I assume, are because Chris doesn't have a car and he was being taken like from certain places, I guess. I'm assuming he's allowed to go out on like a shopping day every now and again, and this is exactly what this was. Now, there were no other people like in that particular van with Chris. The guy who took the picture said he didn't even see anyone else with Chris, so the lady probably just took him there, dropped him off, he did his shopping, and they went back on their way home. But that's what Chris is doing now. He doesn't have his car, so we know he's not just somewhere where he can be driving around doing whatever he wants to do. He's at a place, and it's seemingly a place where he can only go to and from at certain times. Now, I think this quells a lot of people's worries, knowing that he doesn't have a car and he can't just drive right back to Ruckersville and try to get back in and cozy up with Barb again, which is another reason I think he bought that Nintendo Switch. He can't just go home and get his old one. Now, honestly, I am a little confused about this here, because I assume that's a new Sonichu medallion he made just because it looks cleaner. It doesn't look like one of the older ones. But wasn't Chris arrested with a Nintendo Switch? I vaguely recall that hotel in Richmond that he got arrested at, the one where Ethan Ralph was recording it, that Chris had a Nintendo Switch there with a bunch of games because he had just previously bought a bunch of Nintendo Switch games with the money that he took out from his mom's account, the one that like Noel dropped him for when he was like, dude, you can't be going into her account taking out money. But I don't know what they did with that Nintendo Switch. Maybe they just threw it away. Who knows? Maybe one of the cops just took it. One of the room service ladies took it. Who knows? But Chris needed to get a new one, so he got one. And I assume that Switch is taking up most of Chris's time now. So yeah, now that we're done talking about all that, the Nintendo Switch, the fact that Chris is being driven to and from places in like a black van, I had heard rumors that people had seen this van at like a local mental health facility or like a halfway house. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's something that people were saying. And now that that's out of the way, we can get into the newer pictures. The first one you may have seen, because I put it on my community tab, is that Chris was now spotted at another version of like the game place. It's like one of these game stores where you can go and play tabletop games, and it's in this local area, the same one as the Walmart that's being seen here. And Chris is just seemingly sitting there having a good time, not really, just kind of doing what he used to do 20 years ago, being at the games place, not a care in the world. And it's kind of crazy to see Chris like this, because remember, the first ever picture of Chris Chan is very similar to this one you're seeing right here. Now, obviously, there's tons of jokes to be made. I made my own talking about how Michael Snyder couldn't hold Chris down forever. Many other people have joked about how Chris is going to now harass every young black patron inside that establishment, which he was known to do at the original game place. Any woman named Megan needs to be really looking over her shoulder, as well as any woman who likes to collect Nazi memorabilia. There's a lot of things that people are worried about with the situation, but honestly, just seems like Chris is out in public again, not being held down by the internet, so he's trying to do something just do something, I guess, like productive, and maybe playing a video game, a tabletop, or not a video game, a tabletop like game. It's not the most productive thing, but maybe for Chris it is. And a lot of people's opinion is that, he shouldn't even be out in public in general. This is a dangerous person. He shouldn't be doing this. But not only do people think that, now they're actively going out of their way to go after this place that Chris is at, trying to say on Facebook that, you can't have Chris here, he's a rapist, he's this, that, the third, which, nothing they're really saying is a lie, but it's now putting this place that Chris just randomly chose to attend under the spotlight, which has to suck for any person who unknowingly lets Chris in their doors or communicates with Chris, and Chris, it gets cited, because they know nothing about this whole situation. Now, the guy sitting across the table from Chris who took this picture clearly knew what was going on, but it's got to be a rough time for these store owners, because Chris just walks in there and your review page becomes inundated with bullshit. I also have to say, what's crazy about this picture we're looking at on screen is that look at these two people back to back. Chris looks he looks the same age in both. He maybe even looks slightly younger in the one on the left. That other picture of Chris was taken over 20 years ago. and he looks what was he? He was 20 at that point, 21? Maybe 22, 23, but he looks different, a lot different, but at the same time, I don't know if it's better or not. You guys tell me in the comments, where does he look better in which picture? I can't even tell. I really can't, because it's that first one I've always thought is one of the funniest pictures of Chris ever taken, because it makes him look, it adds 20 to 30 years on him. Now, this next one really gives off that mythical creature vibe, the people saying that Chris, getting a picture of him is kind of like getting a picture of Bigfoot. Chris gives off that Bigfoot vibe here. Come on, this looks like a one of those you got him right in the act. You caught him, and Chris obviously noticed this person taking it, and Chris was really not too happy about this. What I think is even more hilarious about this picture is that not only Chris is staring at this guy, but the Sonichu medallion is too. Look at it. Sonichu medallion staring right into your soul, bro. You messed up by taking this one. This picture was apparently taken around the same place at some shopping center, and it just shows that this is another guy who probably was just going about his day, not leaving his house that morning to go intentionally troll Chris. He was just going about his day just like Chris was going about his, and he cited Chris, and it's holy shit. You would act the same way. I feel like anyone who watches these videos, including myself, would probably be the same way. You would be you know what? I don't want to get involved. I don't want to hear all about myself all over the internet because I decided to mess with Chris Chan. That's a stupid move. But you know what? Get a picture from afar. And sadly, this time Chris cited them. And, if Chris was really that omnipotent figure that he wants you to believe he is, he would have made that dude's camera crumble to dust right then and there. But luckily that's not what happened, and this picture did materialize online. And I'm not quite sure what Chris was out doing this day, but it's just another instance of Chris being out and not being inside of wherever home he's at. So Chris can seemingly be out and do what he wants. We don't know how often. We don't know if it's scheduled. That's the stuff we don't know yet. But we do know that Chris is out, and it's not just going to be a rare thing anymore. Apparently, he's just living his life. And like I said, people aren't in agreement with that. People don't like to see that because of what he did to his mother. But like I said, this is just the way things are. I don't think whether people like it or not is going to change anything. So Chris here, what happens next, right? I think it just keeps happening. More people keep taking pictures of Chris, and like I said earlier, I think it inevitably leads into someone confronting Chris. And what I assume they're going to confront Chris about is what he did to his mother. Now, maybe it's going to be someone who runs up to him and is like, oh my god, it's Chris Chan, I need a picture, I'm a big fan, which, honestly, those type of people I never understood. But yeah, I really don't see it being a very long time until Chris is apprehended in public and people try to, call him out on the stuff that he did. I don't know how the reaction from Chris is going to be in that situation. It'll probably be a huge blow-up, but, we'll have to see when the time comes. I say this in every video, and I know people hate me saying it, but obviously, don't go after Chris. Don't go looking to try to mess with Chris. Don't even try to, you're not going to be the big voice of reason if you go call out Chris. He's not going to understand it. He's not going to understand you. He's still going to think he's in the right and that you're just a damn dirty troll at the end of the day. You're going to get nothing out of it, and all that's going to happen is that you and Chris both probably get banned from whichever establishment it happens inside of. But even with that all being said, we know how the internet is, and we know that people aren't going to just not do it because, people are saying it, so I wouldn't be shocked. It's kind of the game that happens with Chris. It's been happening for 20 years. Even though Chris is more off the grid than he's ever been before, I highly doubt it's going to stop anytime soon. So that's really all I had for y'all today. I wanted to give you an update on what's going on with Chris and everything, everything since we talked about in that last video, because it's already kind of outdated with everything that's come out. Now, I know people really want to know, is Chris going to come back online? Where exactly is Chris? And that type of stuff, I can't give you the answer to, but I do think, honestly, just based off of what we've seen in the past few days, we may be seeing Chris back online sometime soon in some form or fashion. Someone might want to get an interview with him or something like that. It's just the type of stuff that happens around the Chris community. So we'll see what happens, and if anything big does happen, I'll be sure to update y'all. So thank you guys for always watching this, and like I do in every video, I want to give shouts out to
Vanessa, Scaly Schisms, Churlish, Adrian Lara, Alright Stingy, Randy Leahy, Wade Pauls, Trademark, Commander Louie, Krabby, Justin S., the Ghostbusters fan, Steve from Machete Squad, Vaga, Count Drugula, SK Rux, Bullet BP, Synthesist, Fat Potato, Dan Noodles, Emery, ATK Cast, Jason Breen, Philly B, Based Trucker, Robot Gorilla Man, Soda Joe, Seal Currently, Eric Estrada, Everborn, Jurassic Clark, Akita's Beat Fan, Cowboy Pete, Hillbilly Wizard, Sora Trash, Hurricane Salem, Prideful Jester, Cyanide Candy, Smokey's Dealer, Kiwi Bros, Griffin Shivo, Austin Vidal, Club Doom, Sarah's Van, Gryphon, Jay Avarice, Tilted J, Costai, Zangetsu Black, Jay Sorensen, Brady Gravy, GP Does, Super Kame Jizzler, Greg the Rich, TJ Traplordius, Grizzly Slug, Bob Skywalker, Just a Normal Bottle of Mustard, Ignatius Bartleby Arlington, Brazilian Dude, Snowshoes, Jelly, Black Meddler, Radon, MXAX, Isaiah, Dalton, Sky Fitzpatrick, Quantum Cat, Ronnie Willis, Grizzly Bear, Pubsy, Soul Reaper, Matt C, Manny, Boston Meadhorn, Sergeant Retro, The Red Scum, Barfunkel Shag Nasty, Pebra, Night Scraper, August Varney, Azrael St. Cloud, Nefarious, Cobra's Manky Tooth, Canadian Funkle, Skylar, Irma, Sleepy Sloth, Crushed Shadow, Viet Bong Vet, Logan Cole, Ja, The Mean Man Dan, Hod Toward, Coffee Moose, Dope and Smoke, What, Zuzu, Brandon, Kerma, Turd Burglar, Marshall Rogers, Minty Smith, Mr. Smith from LCA, None Ya Business, Pun Pun, Unicorn is God, Bro Follow, Sloth Thing, Danny the Foot, Blue Sapphire, Protoshock, Spiral Colors, Jammer X, Pastor Arthur Montgomery, Brutal Strudels, Dirty J, TNUC, TAF, Ian Corrado, Sword Brother, Brock Lobster, Nomags, Guru, Pineapple Pussy, Nate F, Larry Fishmas, Mr. Muda, Patat, Mrs. Starscream, Empty Bat, Mary Mattingly, Doc 703, Josh Dayton, Based Milf Slayer, The Locale Lounge, GH Champ, Bizarre Showcase, Rexo, Neat Life, LEP97, 100 Norwalls, Hoodiebra, Sludge Maniac, Night Shroud, Operator 5781, Bobby Queso, King of Town, Capybara Man, Dan Wolf, Draco the Golden, JB, Blackwing Gaming, Tiki's General Store, AB, Jeff Weber, Cherry, Joey Huey, Coonbender, Visual Vintage, Holly in Hell, Try Give Black Tiger, Alex Esco, Blueberry Psycho, Sydney Jones, LB, Benjamin Vault, Kairos, Big Jim, David June, Sparks Epsilon, Toxic Avenger, Dominic, Jamie Rose, Logan Whatnot, Sneakzies, Extra Zero, Clyde Cash's Cash Stash, Mr. Krabs, Rowdy Oni, Drunk Serval, Peace, Lieutenant Blackbutter, Ziamara Moo, Cromlock, Guru, Victor D, Sebastian, Maxing at the Fort, I Eat Bugs and Plants, Dane Justice, For Real, Anti-CK, Trashboat, That One, Stacy Newbie, DJ Cannon, Big Bad Gruff, Toxic T, Sadie T, Bob, Meatman, Shannon Rose, Dead Barbarian, Vish K, Kanka the Great, Depraved Grapes, A Random Stormcloak, Wet Floor Coney, Reb Zoomer, Hot Wheels, Dylan W, Thunderbaze, Hunter Cobb, Talia, Nico Bellin, Spooky, Dougal Johnson, Buttworm Wilkins, Chrisia Guibel, I'm sorry for butchering that one, Quinn Quimson, Cowboy Woozy, Wendigo, Billy Bones, Ben Carson 2024, Hyena Man, Your Wife's Boyfriend, Tony Tokyo, Marissa, Peanut Mama, Antrust, CHX Carnage, Anton Levy, Rex 1 Kittles, Chat Creeper, Mr. Jinx, TARDIS, Full Thickness, Hashoop, Bimp Lisket, John Smithy, Cod Ranquin, Alex, BTF Nation, Shoop to Hoop, Chris Chan's Phantom Bottle Collection, Alexander, It's Sub, Old Man Bradley, Kira, The Mothman, Shekel, The Ghostbusters Fan, Nocturne, Kiwi Bay, Mint, Crafts and Cartoon, Corey Trevor, Calzone, Portuguese Horse, Weeaboo, Funky Weapon, Mage Hand, Slap Fight, Andrew Guest, Weetabix, Chewy, Linguini God, Brandon Williford, Super Kame Jizzler, Hunter B, Zeepo, Dingbat, Raven, Horsepower Hour, Timbang, Metal Wolf, Irma, Coggles, Tequila Johnson, Young Voodoo, your boy B-Rob, Ephraim B, Crazy Kids, Laura Smith, Sharp Metal Edge, Sleepy Sloth, Project Spiral, Legendary Duelist, Vix the Pumpkin, Naz, WTF Wolf, Moo the Mogul, Kate, Mr. Spaghetti, Manbeast, Ja, Logan Cole, Some Frenchie, Shaggy Mane, Rated, Turtle Platoon, Alpha T, Plague, River Ranger, Frederick, B. Vinoich, Nappy Toast, The Black Bowser, Laura Fierce, JB Films, Ryan L, Avery the Wanderer, Shiloh, Robbie Mitchell, Pard in the Dust, Cario, Barbara Barbussy, Corrected Carlos, Was Dead, Alt Text Wolf, Burger Kerber, Your Psycho Ex-Girlfriend, Jackal, Kaito Mondrian, Bright Galaxy, Rodango, Artie Garcia, Jessica G, Bako, What, Wumpa, Brandon, Bard, Sinewave, The Zodiac, Sarah, Cow Wrangler, Conrad, Was Good, Ryan Tanner, Felix Fox, Deus Volter, Seraplex, Clear G, T-Jords, Big Burr, Fluffy, Soul Reaper, Hod Toward, Manny T, Makachi, Danny the Foot, and Let a Bitch Live.
You guys are all goats, and everyone who's made it to the end of the video, you guys are goats as well. Now, in this video, I wanted to give a few shout-outs at the end here. The big one I wanted to give to Mrs. Smokey. Miss Smokey has a channel called Andromeda where she's been talking about lolcows like Amberlyn Reed, even a few videos on old White Bowser, but she's working on a video with Chris Chan, and the link will be in the description below and in the comments, and you guys should definitely go show some love over there because I can imagine that video is going to be pretty lit. I also want to give a shout out to my co-host on the Too High for Stupid podcast, Kiwi Tapes, who's been doing a lot of Chris content recently, and it's been kick-ass stuff too. So if you guys are looking for places that you might find updates or different outlooks on Chris, those are some places to go, and I'll put them down in the description below. And finally, I do want to say that if you guys are missing all my old Cyrax content, that's over on Smokey MCC2 now. I'll link that down in the description below. We're doing very well over there. I'm glad you guys are liking all the re-uploads, and we're definitely going to get some new videos out over there. But yeah, just a bunch of stuff you guys can go look at, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I say it all the time that, the weekend's like vastly approaching. We're going to get there. It's going to be lit. We're not going to have to worry about a damn thing. Just kick back, relax. And my friends, it is here. It's Friday, and it is here, and it is glorious. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. You guys have a damn good time, and you guys have no stress in your life. That's the one big thing to me, and y'all know that. If y'all are just kicking back, chilling, not having to worry about a damn thing, then everything's cool. And that's all you can really ask for. So my friends, until the next video, I'll see you then, and stay safe.